Hi, my name is Gary Koh. I'm the designer of these speakers. They are the Genesis 5.3s. They were released a couple of years ago, but I think that these are still current. The customers I have, I know, swear by them. When I looked at this, a loudspeaker that would fit into an elegant living room and not be intrusive, not try to... It is there to produce music. It is not there as a monolith for you to look at. So it is small, it is elegant, it takes a small footprint. It is quite heavy, but it doesn't look it because of the dimensions that I've used. And what I wanted it to do was to be as transparent as possible, so that it would play any and all music. If Daddy likes jazz and the daughter likes house, progressive house, then she can play that on the speakers and not fear breaking them before Daddy comes home. It's a full frequency range. It does the full frequency range. The woofers go all the way down to 16 Hz and the tweeter goes all the way up to 40 kHz. But I would challenge you to hear the difference between the tweeter and the mid-range and the mid-bass and the bass, because one of the goals was coherence. I do not like a system, or I do not like a system that shows up the bass, or shows up the female singer, or shows up the high frequencies. I like everything to be cut from one sonic cloth. To be able to hear every single key on a piano sounding like it comes from the same piano, and not two different pianos, or three different pianos, or four different pianos. The base of the 5.3 is what we call servo control. Servo control is very simple. You put an accelerometer on the woofer, and if the woofer does not accelerate fast enough, you push more power in. If it does not accelerate at all, or if it goes too fast, you need to pull it back. A real-world example of a servo control is something you use every day, the cruise control on your car. You set a speed, and if it goes too fast, it lifts off the gas. If it is going uphill, it puts the gas on. Servo control, it's a feedback system. It's a continuous system. You don't feel it. It is not trying to fix an event after the fact. It is a way to control something, to keep it to a certain point. And when we compare the input signal to the output signal is read by the accelerometer, the input signal is read by an integrator, and the two are compared, and if one doesn't match, we just push more power or pull more power back. The mid-range of the 5.3 has got to be as fast as possible, because we are known to have, well, a lot of reviewers say that we've got the best tweeter in the world, because it's a ribbon tweeter. It's the only, I think it's the only ring ribbon tweeter, and the ring ribbon tweeter is supremely fast. It goes all the way to 40 kHz. Mid-ranges have difficulty keeping up. So the mid-range is a solid titanium cone. Titanium is not popular because some of the physical properties do not make it the ideal or the perfect cone material. But to me, there's no such thing as a perfect cone material. The best cone material is the material that you can utilize the best. And as long as you cannot hear that it's titanium or beryllium or magnesium or aluminum or paper or Kevlar or carbon fiber, why should I worry? The mid-range will do a female voice. Have you seen a titanium singer, or a carbon fiber singer, or a plastic singer, or a paper singer? You know, they are females, or males, they are flesh and blood. You know, since we cannot have a flesh and blood mid-range, I made one of our titanium that doesn't sound like anything. The idea of a loudspeaker should not be to sound like something. The idea of a loudspeaker should be to translate an electrical signal into a sound wave, and nothing more. I don't like to add anything, I don't like to take anything away. The 5.3 has got 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers. The two bass drivers work together, so it's a four-way loudspeaker. The problem with a lot of coherence, a lot of loudspeakers, is that they are not coherent. You hear a tweeter, you hear a mid-range, you hear a bass. And they may work at different times, or they may have different timbres and different sounds. The 5.3 not only has got 5 drivers in the front, it's got 3 more drivers in the rear. Imagine how difficult something like that is to beam into your ear. So I don't even try to beam this into your ear. The objective of the loudspeaker is to create a sound waveform that is coherent by the time it reaches the listening position. Which is why I always say with the 5.3s, a minimum of 9-10 feet away from the front. Because the waveform takes that amount of time to get to cohere and turn into a sonic picture. And once you've got this sonic picture created, you can walk around the room, you could sit on a love seat, you could have somebody standing between you and the loudspeaker, and it does not affect the sound. This is very easy to illustrate. You go to a concert, you're sitting there, somebody walks right in front of you, you're listening there with your eyes closed, you don't even notice. You don't hear somebody walking in front of you. But with a lot of loudspeakers, if I stand between you and a loudspeaker, the soundstage collapses. Everything from that loudspeaker is firing into my back and you only hear one loudspeaker. That means that the loudspeaker is not designed to create a coherent waveform by the time it gets to you. The Genesis 5.3 is sort of lower middle part of my line. I've got the floor setting 7.2F, that's about a $12,000 loudspeaker. That also goes down in the bass. It's a true full range loudspeaker that goes down at 22 Hz. The 5.3 is $28,000. It goes down to 16 Hz. That's the second from the bottom. Then we get to my big line source loudspeakers. The 2.2 Junior, 6 feet tall, $80,000. The 2.2, which is a 4-tower, $125,000 system. Then we get to the Genesis one, which is a 1.5 ton, 7.5 feet tall system that goes at $300,000. And then there's the top of the range, which is the Genesis Dragon, and that is $350,000. So the 5.3 is about, I would call it the entry level into the top range for a fairly large room. Actually, this room is not large. It's a medium-sized room for a living room. The 7.2F is designed for a slightly smaller room, and all the other loudspeakers are designed for much larger rooms. The difference with the Genesis range is that I do not dumb down the loudspeaker as we come down the top. The tweeter I use is the same tweeter all the way from my little bookshelves all the way up to the Genesis Dragons. The quality of the crossover is exactly the same from the bottom to the top. So you don't lose anything if you've got smaller quarters. You know, I've got customers with a pair of bookshelves on their den, and they swear it sounds as good as the big Genesis ones in their 500 square foot living room. So once you get to points like that, when you get into the Genesis brand, moving up, you get larger and larger rooms, then you move up. Don't move up just because you want to upgrade. So, thank you for taking the time to listen to me and introduce the Genesis 5.3s. I look forward, Peter, to a review from Bob. Thank you.